Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to TCTC Time. I'm your host, Cassidy Weber. Before we start, we have a couple announcements. Badger will have a dismissal today at 1:10. Please wait for the announcements. Bristol and Bloomfield, there will be a dismissal on Friday, March 25th at 11:20. This week, we have an after-school view with Miss Wright and Miss Kish of FCA.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Wright.
And I'm Mrs. Kish.
And we're the teachers here at the TCTC that host the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Every Wednesday after school, students meet and lead discussions regarding Christian principles, values, and lessons. The goal is to share motivational messages filled with integrity, serving, teamwork, and excellence. Some of our FCA members assembled goodie bags for the teachers and staff here at TCTC and passed them out during parent-teacher conferences. Our goal was to promote the FCA and what we are about.
If you're interested in attending, we meet every Wednesday in Mrs. Wright's room, and the meeting lasts for about 20 minutes. Please know that just because we are called the Fellowship of Christian Athletes doesn't mean that you need to be an athlete to attend. Any staff member or student is welcome. If you have any questions, ask any teacher in the building and they can help you.
Now, here's our next segment on how to become a Radgrad.
Good morning, TCTC. I am Ms. Tischer, and this is Mrs. Dubel.
Good morning.
And this morning we are going to be talking to you about Radgrad.
So what does it mean to be a Radgrad? Distinguished Completer, or Radgrad, is a chance for you to gain special recognition for your achievements at school. For those of you that are interested in being one of TCTC's top 5, it is a mandatory requirement to be one of the top 5. It is also meant to be challenging to show your hard work and determination. There are 6 mandatory criteria, and you must also meet 3 of the optional 9 criteria. So let's talk about the required criteria. You must meet all 6 of these requirements. The first one, your grades. You must have a minimum of a 3.0 GPA for your 7th semester grades. Attendance must be 95% or better. That excludes any mandatory quarantine. Discipline, you may have no major discipline referrals and you can have no more than 1 minor referral. You must have evidence of your E, which could be a letter of acceptance for college, a letter from your employer, or something that you have enlisted. You must also have a recommendation from your program instructor, and you must have a passing score on your e-portfolio. Now on to the additional criteria, which you must meet 3 of these 9 criteria. For your web exams, you must pass all sections at the advanced level. Job shadow, you must complete the formal job shadow packet. Work-based learning, you must log 250 hours of work-based learning. Industry credentials, you must earn 12 points on an industry credential. ACT, you must earn remediation-free ACT scores, which is an 18 in English, 22 in reading, and 22 in math. If you are involved in CTSO, that could mean you're an officer, you've participated in competition or any community service projects that you've completed. Community service is also an option. You must have documented at least 50 hours of community service. You can also complete the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal. And the last option is the Career Safe Employability Skills. You must complete all 11 courses.
One more note, if you are eligible for the Ohio Honors Diploma, which is typically recognized by your home school, that is also an option. If you earn your Ohio Honors Diploma, you are automatically eligible to be a Radgrad without having to do those mandatory and optional criteria. However, you do still need to submit verification of that into Google Classroom by the established deadline for all other applicants. So why would you want to be a distinguished completer? There are a couple different reasons. One of which Mrs. Dubel already mentioned, that you cannot be considered for TCTC's top 5 without having been recognized as a Radgrad. There will also be a special luncheon in your honor. You will have a lapel pin and a certificate. The pin, of course, you can wear on your diploma gown at graduation. There's also a sense of pride that comes along with it, knowing that you've accomplished something that so few others have done during their time here at TCTC. It's certainly a resume booster as well as using it on college applications. And you also will be recognized at the TCTC completion ceremony, both by having the pin on, being recognized and asked to stand in the audience, and having special recognition in the program as well. So if this is interesting to you, this is something that you can get more information on in Google Classroom. Obviously, seniors are the ones that we're most importantly talking to, but if you're a junior, it's not too soon to enroll in this classroom and to get more information. These are things you can start working on now. The enroll code is there. You can also scan that QR code. Once you're in the Google Classroom course, you can click on the classwork button to see the verification forms that are there. There are directions and lists of the required evidence for the required criteria and the additional criteria. There's an FAQs page as well, and then there's the option to submit your paperwork. So the deadline to submit, and of course this is for seniors this year, is April 28th by 11:59 p.m. We will be reviewing applications the very next day, so no late submissions will be accepted. Once all of your evidence is collected using those verification forms available in Classroom, you will create one single document that you will upload into the spot that says Submit Paperwork Here. If you have any further questions, we will be offering an optional Google Meet session this Friday, which is a professional learning day, at 10:30 a.m. We will also have an in-person Q&A session Tuesday at 8 a.m. in Lecture Hall A. That is also optional, just for if you have questions. And of course, you can email any of the advisors, Mrs. Dubel and I, as well as Mr. Gorse, with the email addresses that you see there. We hope that you consider Radgrad. A lot of this stuff are things that you're doing anyway. You just need to provide evidence and get your submissions in on time, April 28th, 11:59 p.m.
Next, we have an interview with Alexis Schaefer and Jennifer Hudek talking about Lifeline, Ohio.
So hi, my name is Alexis Schaefer and I'm an officer at HOSA at TCTC, and today I have the pleasure of doing a quick interview with Jennifer Hudek from Lifeline, Ohio. She is a community outreach center. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So I guess I should start out by asking you to tell our students just a little bit about Lifeline.
Lifeline of Ohio does some really, really important work. We're an organization, we're an organ procurement organization. So that means we are the people in between a person who has died and people who are waiting for a second chance at life. Currently, there are 106,297 people on the national transplant list, which means that these people, anywhere from newborn babies to grandparents, moms and dads, brothers and sisters, and everybody in between, they're waiting for a second chance. We know today that every single day we lose about 17 people off of that national transplant list because an organ didn't come for them in time. So any work that we can do, any education that we can offer is always going to be helpful. And so we encourage you, just listening to this information today, to share this conversation with somebody else who may not be in this room with you, to go home and talk to your family about what you've learned today, and maybe dispel some of the myths that they have heard of.
Definitely. So what organs can be donated exactly?
Sure. So when you're asked at the License Bureau, when they say to you, do you want to be an organ donor? They're really talking about two different things. So for one, they are talking about organs. So heart, liver, lungs, pancreas, small intestine, and kidneys, as well as tissue. So while those organs are life-saving, tissue can be in many cases life-healing, also in some cases saving as well. Things like skin for burns or cornea, when a military personnel has been near a bomb and the shrapnel from the bomb has scratched the top coating of their eyes, that cornea can be replaced. We can give them vision once again. Things like bone grafts. All those things can go from one person to maybe 75 other people. So the opportunity to help somebody could range from helping one person, which is an incredible ripple, that one person goes on to do wonderful things because of another, up to maybe 100 people or more in some cases. So yeah, it's a pretty great opportunity to save and heal people.
How rare is it to become an organ donor?
It's pretty rare. I think when I said yes to donation at 15 and a half, my assumption was upon my death, I'll be able to save lives. I want to do that now if I can do that. And really just by us having this conversation, we could all be lifesavers just to pass along this education. But it's pretty rare. It means that somebody has died in a hospital on a ventilator. So often it's because a person has experienced some sort of head injury that they've necessitated the need for a ventilator. So not to get too detailed, but it's often very, very sudden. And because of that ventilator piece, it basically means that it's very rare. It's about a 3% chance. So 3 out of 100 people actually end up becoming organ donors and are able to save other people's lives, which actually gives us even more incentive to spread this word about donation, because it is such a rare opportunity to help other people.
And you talked about earlier, there are some misconceptions about organ donation. What are some of the most common ones that you've heard that you feel like you need to address?
Sure, I hear a lot of different things, and it's always interesting for me to hear different. So I often hear if you say yes to donation and that's on your license, your ID, your temps, medical personnel won't work as hard to save your life. Those people are trained professionals, and you are their number one goal. You are their number one priority to save your life at that moment. No medical professional would ever allow someone to die in order to save someone else. So keep that in mind. We also hear that, people that are on the wait list, they get bumped. If they're famous or they have money, whatever, nobody gets bumped. Here's what, basically organs are matched by blood type and tissue type and body size. And then we look at who is the very sickest person waiting and where do they live? Can they receive those organs in time before they can't be used? So there's a lot of different factors that go into matching organs. It's not like just anybody can pay money. In fact, that's illegal to receive those. People can still have an open casket funeral. That's absolutely possible. If it were possible before donation doesn't make any difference. So these are some things that, people often think I'm too old. Our oldest organ donor was 95, believe it or not, and our oldest tissue donor was 107. So these individuals said, I don't know if I have something that can help somebody else, but if I do, I want to do that. So we encourage everyone to say yes. If you knew you could, would you? Yay. Well, good luck with your Blue and Green Day. Good luck getting this message out. And thank you for your generous gift to save and heal lives.
All right. Thank you so much for spending the time today with us to explain the importance of organ donation and how we as young adults can make an impact with that organ donation. Here at TCTC on March 17th, we're going to be doing a Blue and Green Day. And we hope that we will all join us and wear clothing that is green or blue in order to show support for this organization.
And that's all for this week of TCTC Time. I'm your host, Cassidy Weber, and we'll see you again next week.